Thank you, Dr. Kumar. We will now be joined by Shri Pankaj Mishra, Deputy Surveyor General, Survey of India. Shri Pankaj Mishra is an electronics engineer by education, a surveying, mapping, and GIS expert by profession, and has special interests in geospatial data infrastructure technologies and standardization. He has vast experience of topographical surveying and mapping at various scales in areas like northeastern India, Punjab, and Haryana using state of the art technologies. Pankaj sir, over to you.
Thank you. I hope I am audible. Can somebody confirm?
Yes, Pankaj, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Myself, Pankaj Mishra. I am basically from the National Institute of Geospatial Science and Technology. This is a training institute of under the Survey of India at Hyderabad. And being the last speaker in the session, I will take the advantage of whatever detailed roadmaps and the points which have already been, I think, explained very well by the previous speakers. So I will focus on the theme, which is the challenges. What are the challenges? What are the challenges in the skill development, which we are talking about, I think, right from yesterday. In the complete summit, every session invariably is talking about the skill gap. Everybody is talking, every session is talking, every vertical is talking about the skill gap, which is definitely affecting the geospatial. See, so just to start with, like we know very well the kind of role geospatial presently is playing in the national priorities. It has been discussed at length and breadth right from yesterday, whether it is the urban, transportation, agriculture, governance, or environment, power. But ultimately, and a lot of national programs, state programs are being basically run. But ultimately, when we talk about the skill development, we have a lot of problems. Like we have yet not started this journey of really doing the role-based training. We have not yet identified the kind of changes in the various roles which are emerging in light of the changing context. Now, this changing context is very important, particularly post promulgation of the new geospatial guidelines, which has liberalized this particular geospatial data generation and the processing and the handling. All these areas, it has completely liberalized. Now, what it has done, it has basically brought us into this context where different kind of combinations are now possible for things like foundation data generation, which was not possible earlier. A lot of difficulties were there, a lot of challenges were there earlier, but now it has now brought us to a completely different place where a very different kind of approach and perspective needs to be there for really doing the capacity building and training for the kind of requirement which it is offering. Whatever we have observed even from the promulgation last year, a lot of changes are yet to come in the time in future. So what are these challenges really? Various speakers were talking about, like government level, people are talking about geospatial literacy. Very correct. It has to be there at various levels. Geospatial education has to be there, but it has to be there not only with the one particular stakeholder. There are various stakeholders which requires different kinds of skilling. Even in the private sector, a lot of things needs to be added to the skill set, as well as in the government sector. Very correctly, like Dr. Lohani had pointed out, that there are problems in the industry in terms of, like, no standards are there for acceptance. There is lack of awareness and know-how is there in really acceptance of the results, acceptance of the deliverables. So now how to address that? You will have to educate them. You will have to develop that skill at that particular level in the government, or you will have to develop that particular skill in the industry also, where the right kind of solution should be proposed. which is really required for the solution. Basically, it should not be a overkill. So the right kind of softwares, the right kind of technologies, what exactly has to be offered, that is also very, very important. And equally important part is, like in the present context, where even any kind of Indian entity can be engaged for any kind of data generation for the foundational layers. So in this scenario, it is very, very important that the kind of professional integrity and ethics needs to be there among all stakeholders for making the best uses of the technology in offering the solutions. Now, who will be training people for that? So I'll now come to the core part where I have the expertise of several years. That is what is a very important basically vertical in the geospatial, which is called surveying and mapping. Now there are a lot of other verticals which have already been discussed at length. Everybody has talked about the GIS, web GIS, positioning technologies, navigation, a lot of things required there. Now the most important thing which we are talking about is the location. Ultimately, we are here to capture the location, make use of the location, develop the location-based applications. We wanted to enable all the sectors and subsectors with this valuable location information. So what exactly is required for this? Everybody talks about the lack of high resolution data. Everybody talks about right kind of geospatial data, for whether it is for the applications, whether it is for the research purposes, or whether it is for any kind of modeling requirements. Everybody, for example, you wanted to handle the riverine flooding, you want terrain, high resolution terrain. You wanted to handle the urban flooding, you need to have high resolution terrain for that. Now ultimately, who is going to develop, who is going to generate that data? It is going to come definitely through government, private collaboration, or different other engagements, and people need to be trained for all those roles. Now when we really talk about all those roles, now what has happened, whatever surveying and mapping professional was doing 20 years back, it has gone completely, basically it has been changed completely. Now a surveying professional is not only expected to do an accurate measurement. He is supposed to do data processing also. He is supposed to handle the platforms also. He is supposed to handle the databases also. He is supposed to do the analysis also. So all these kind of new skills which are invariably expected from a geospatial professional, or to be very specific, a surveying professional, now they are basically forcing new roles to emerge. And precisely to address this particular challenge and this particular requirement, we had entered into the MOU with the AGI, and AGI has proposed a lot of like options to us in the form of association with their partners, so that we can really address these technology areas. We can really understand what kind of requirements are there in the industry, what kind of roles are emerging, and then maybe people can be skilled considering that particular role specific skill requirement. So in that process, we are working on various technology based capacity building initiatives at the NIGST. And in fact, we have completely revamped the kind of course curriculums we had, primarily incorporating all these latest technology areas which are required for generation, handling, processing, all these kind of things related with the geospatial data. And at the global level also, if you see, all these are these are the key drivers in the present day scenario. Whether you talk about the HRSI based any kind of data generation or processing thing, you talk about the automated feature extraction, object detection kind of work processes, you talk about the high definition mapping which is going to come with the it is happening across the world. You're talking about the digital twins, talking about the BIM applications. So whether it is cloud based applications, all these areas are the prime areas of concern for a geospatial professional as on today. and we are definitely doing a lot of work to develop that kind of infrastructure also for the training, so that we can really address this particular skill requirement. But definitely it will be requiring a all-round effort, like from all the stakeholders. It is just not possible to cater for the actual skilling requirement which is there in the market. It's like even the industry association we are addressing through AGI. On the other side, the government association, we already have various MOUs with the state governments and central governments. We are trying to understand what kind of requirement they have. Now, this is the present day context is like completely outsourcing based kind of work. Production work has to be done for the data generation, and the people within those particular government organizations need to be skilled with that kind of skill set, which can help them in actually doing that acceptance, which was precisely being referred by the Dr. Lohani. So that is what is the kind of challenge we have, and we are definitely hopeful that we will be really getting a lot of inputs from the AGI and all their partners in really understanding and developing the complete framework for this kind of skilling. Definitely, it has to be in line with QF, which was being talked up by various speakers. If we really wanted to do it in line with what is the national skilling program, and precisely the certified professionals which everybody is talking about, which can be the only I would say the kind of solution for a dependable solution for really providing the problem-centric solutions for across the different sectors. So this is certified professionals. Yes, fully agreed with that. Yesterday also there were talks about the third-party validation. How it is going to happen? You will have to train people. You will have to train people for really handling that kind of requirement. So this is basically, I thought I will talk about the basic challenges which we have in really skilling the people, particularly at the level where really it is required for generation and handling of the data, which can definitely is the basic requirement for all kinds of application development and the enabling other sectors for various applications. So with this, I would like to close. There are a lot of things to speak on this particular subject, considering the variety of challenges we have. So thank you very much for providing this opportunity to me to speak on this particular session. Any questions are there? I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.